Yeah, so thank you for being here. Any foundation year students? Okay, thank you. So this is Israa and that's Ali. We're currently JC1 students, and I'm just gonna start by giving you tips, like general tips on how to pass foundation year successfully, hopefully. So the first thing, I know you're sick of hearing that, but you guys really need to attend lectures, and you need to try to manage your time. I know it's just easy to say that, but then it's hard to apply. But just try your best, basically. And another thing is try to take notes while you're receiving lectures. So what I do is, like if you're finding it hard to take notes while taking lectures, I would go over the lecture itself before attending the class, and by that I would know what, like all the information that's on the slide, so I know what to write down and what to leave out. And learning outcomes are very important, so like read the learning outcomes before you attend the class, and also while studying, try to read the learning outcomes and then study, so that while you're seeing all that information, you know what kind of information you need to focus on and what kind of minor details that you don't really need to like spend a lot of time memorizing. And also after you finish studying, go over the learning outcomes again and make sure that you got every single information you need. And also, like there are online materials that you can take use of. So an example of that would be YouTube videos or animations. Sometimes on the slides, the lecturers would post links, so do make use of that. And also, Khan Academy is really good for problem mechanisms and like different modules. But I found Armando very helpful in endocrine and reproductive systems, just of the way they're drawing every single like mechanism and seeing the hormones, like the sources and production, then the functions of each hormone and so on. It's just easier to stick in your mind.
Yeah, just to note as well that you will take the endocrine and the reproductive in the second semester, so not the first semester. I'll mention, so the first advice is the past papers, okay? I think this is actually the first advice any of the previous students will advise you, okay? The past papers, look at the past papers, okay? If you want to pass and if you want as well to get first honor, okay? So look at the past papers. The tip is that once you finish the notes during the week, okay, look at the past papers every weekend for the notes that you actually studied, okay, just to make it easier for the final exams, because there are lots of past papers on Moodle. I do have some of the I do have actually some files of past papers and tutorials, especially for M2 and M1. So if you want, I can give it to you, okay. There is another point as well. They started a new marking scheme last year. It's from 0 to 6. And I know the 6 is you have to read and to show extra information. The notes is are actually sufficient, okay, to get 5, okay. I remember that last year I think only 2 got 6 in each question, so 2 out of 300 almost. Okay, so it's difficult to get 6. Okay, even if you brought actually an extra information, some of extra information doesn't make sense. Okay, it's not related to the question. So be smart on taking extra information as well. Read box. Try to start to prepare yourself as well for reading boxes, because you will read a lot on JC and for the following years as well. So start from pre-mid reading box. Don't take that extra information from boxes, just take it for understanding. And the last point is study group, okay? I found it actually useful in some modules, especially M1, and I'll mention that just now. So module 1 is the physics. You will take it only for the first semester, so no more physics, okay, in the second semester. But you will take some of the physics materials on other modules, okay? For example, Professor McQuiggan will teach you in M4, I think, yeah, M4, and Wednesday will teach you in M5 as well, in pacemakers and cardiovascular system. So they will recommend one physics book. It's the green one. You found it in the library. What I advise you actually is not to read it. Okay, it just waste of time. Yeah, there are no actually pictures or diagrams on it. It's only actually paragraphs. Okay, describing physics and doesn't actually make any point. Do attend Professor McGuigan and Dr. Windsor lectures because it's really helpful. Most of these slides are only videos and animations, so but do look at them on Moodle because they will ask you in MCQs and short notes about those animations and videos. Study group is very useful for M1. I think it's for all actually modules, but especially for M1. And M2 is the chemistry. You will take as well M9 the second semester. It is as well the chemistry, but it's gonna be pharmacological part more of it. And there are many chemistry boxes on the library. Just choose any of them. It just and if you have as well any chemistry notes during the high school, okay, bring them. You need them for the organic chemistry for the first and the second semester as well. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Griffith. So Dr. Darren actually he usually give us a hint, okay, on the lectures. So take actually those hints and write them down. He will ask you on the short notes, especially the short notes.
Sometimes
okay?
even during tutorials.
Yeah.
Just say.
Yeah. Do attend his tutorials as well. He's actually one of the fans of exceptions. Okay. So look at exceptions and Dr. Celine as well, Professor
Actually,
Celine.
yeah, all chemists.
Yeah. So M3 is the biology. The only book is Salmon. Okay. Don't read a lot of Salmon. Okay. Try to look at as well Wikipedia. Wikipedia is very good for M3. YouTube, Khan Academy, and be careful as well with Dr. Jacqueline Daly questions, particularly the DNA transcription and translation. Okay, they're very tricky on the exam. You will have, I think, 5 or 7 MCQs in the CA as well. Okay, so it's gonna be tricky. Last year, I think only maybe 50 out of 300. Okay, answered her question on the CA. It was on the DNA transcription. So just be careful. I think I remember the question, but let us just finish the. So M4 and M5. M4 and M5. Did you start the M4 and M5? The human system. So you are now in which system? Okay. So yeah, M4 and M5. The only book is the human physiology. It's actually the human biology. It's just a small book, okay? It describes only the basics of the human systems. I do have it now on the library. I'm not sure if there are any boxes of it in the library to borrow, but I do have 2, okay? It's a human biology, just a small book. And yeah, past papers, I think for M4 and M5, it's very good. Last year, M4 and M5, we had 3 questions, okay, 3 questions out of 5. They were just identical from the past papers. So do look at them. Past paper is not only to pass the exams, okay, it's as well for first honor questions, okay. So yeah, I'll leave you now with M6 and M8.
Okay, so in terms of M6, there isn't really a lot to say, but I'd say just listen carefully to whatever they're looking for, because you really need to meet their expectations to get the highest mark possible. And another thing, look at the way you're graded so that you know at what aspect you need to focus. Sometimes they just want you to show them that you work really good in groups and you know how to communicate with other students and so on. In regards to M8, I would say read lab manuals before attending labs. This helps a lot. And also when it's exams time, sometimes maybe you don't have enough time because you want to spend time on other modules that are more important probably, or worth more, because I think it's only 30% the final in the first semester. And so if you read the manuals before the lab itself, that like you already get information that's going to help you in the final, and you won't spend a long time studying. And also, like after you get your lab manuals corrected, make sure you have all the correct information, because you're going to be studying from these manuals later on. Another thing is, yeah, there are online resources that you need to look at them like before the exam. These are really helpful, and I would say probably if you didn't look at them, you're going to struggle in the MCQs, because like a lot of diagrams and pictures would come from these online resources. Probably they're going to talk to you about them later when it's close to exams time. And also try to take notes during labs, especially biology, because sometimes it's just hard to find the information outside the outside the lab, or yeah. And if you don't get any points, try to ask the demonstrator. That helps.
Just a second. I'll mention two things or three things on M6. You have to show actually group work. Okay. On the two projects, the first semester and the second semester. The second semester you'll have elective, okay, and it depends if you are in presentation or any of the electives. So you have to show group work. Okay, this is actually the most important thing from the project. And the second two things are in M8 for the biology labs. Okay, I know they actually take the labs from you, the manuals. Okay, immediately after the lab. So to try to draw the structures before the lab itself, and draw what you see on the microscope. Okay, don't draw what you actually saw on Google. Okay, draw what you see. And you will have a tutorial of for the MCQs of M8. Okay, the end of this semester. So don't worry, most of it is actually histology, easy one, and two questions for physics. It's only one lab. Okay, good. All right. Okay.
And yeah, probably I would say don't underestimate M8. Like it's one of the modules that I find very easy to score high 90s in, so that's gonna help you a lot in your GPA. And for the second semester, M4, M5 is just the same as the first semester. I'd say M6 again, but this time they really need to see that like you're really good at group work, and yeah, and you're gonna submit a log, I think, at the end of the project, and so just make sure that you're showing them that you're really good at that. And M7, I didn't use any books, and the lecture notes were more than efficient, because already there is a lot of information going on in the lecture notes compared to other modules, so we don't really want to waste time. But I mean, if you have time and you're really good at reading books, maybe you can take a look. And it's very important to take notes, maybe, because sometimes they would put points and it's just hard to relate them to each other. And yeah, you can always use YouTube videos, and probably when you take the module, you'd find it quite hard, and there is a lot of new information, I would say, so don't freak out, because they usually ask direct questions and like basic information, and they don't usually look for, like, ask you about two specific questions. I would say there's only one very specific question that we got last year, and so like try to get the core materials, I would say. For M8 again, it's the same. Sorry,
yeah, something. They don't know actually what is M7. They will take
okay, it's human diseases, and it's second semester.
Pathology. So it's one of my favorite modules. Okay, easy one, the pathology and diseases, but you have to study a lot. Okay, try to read the notes 4 or 5 times. Okay, before the final exams. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, for M8 it's just the same as the first semester, so I'll have manuals. And for regarding M8, so there are different demonstrators, but then just make sure that you're really like writing the answers that the demonstrator is looking for. So after the lab, try to ask your demonstrator whether like you're getting the right answers and what kind of information they're looking for, because they're the one who are grading you. So it doesn't matter if the other demonstrator, if the other table are telling them to write, for example, that like a specific information they want to look for or how long the answer should be. But then, because they're not the ones that are grading you, so you just want to make sure that you're meeting the expectations of your one demonstrator. And for M9, it's chemistry, second semester. But this time it's full of mechanisms, I would say. Yeah, and there is part of pharmacology. And they usually don't put the very complicated equations, so probably, yeah, so I would say, yeah, it's not gonna be that difficult, hopefully, but try to get the very basic materials. And what I find, some people would make a summary of all the mechanisms and chemical equations they have, but this doesn't work for me. So what I would do is basically try to understand what's going on, where the electrons are going, and what's gonna happen next, and what I would like based on the knowledge I already got from the lectures, what I would expect to happen for between acids and bases and all those stuff. And that's gonna help you, like probably you're gonna get half of the equation by just using your knowledge, so you don't need to spend a long time trying to memorize that equation. And also past papers, they do like a lot of questions would come up, and again exceptions, like definitely I would say in like 99% they would ask about exceptions, so to look at these. Yeah. And yeah, you really have to enjoy, I would say. And and maybe try to find a way to relieve your stress. So different people have different kinds of relieving their stress. And like for me, for example, I like cycling, so it's just a way that I really enjoy or helps me a lot. And maybe reading for pleasure. And so just maybe during this first semester, it might be hard to find what kind of stuff really make you feel better. So probably just try, like you can gain that skill, I would say, or so over time. And also try to do some extracurricular activities, because these are the ones who are gonna help you find yourself and the stuff you enjoy. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, any questions? Yeah.
Okay. Question regarding the outcomes, learning outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm reading the outcomes, so one of them, like they ask something that is not related,
Okay.
or it's not mentioned during the note, during the lecture. So should I do extra reading about it?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Is it on red? I think so. The first 5 notes, I think.
No, it's not on red. It's just like they mentioned the disease,
Okay.
the learning outcomes, but it's not mentioned within the notes.
Which note was that?
Violet.
Okay. In M3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, M3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, do extra reading
Sometimes,
about it, but
yeah.
I think they just cancel it. Yeah.
they would mention something related to it during tutorials, so
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily have to be mentioned in the lecture itself. So yeah, make sure you attend tutorials.
So this
They
disease
did it.
for the 6. Okay. Yeah. Why? Well, they were good actually. Okay.
Is it MCQs
Why?
you're doing?
Yeah, we did one SNQ with Jackie, and then MCQs with Katina.
I think the first tutorial of M3 was only for the examination tutorial. Is it?
Oh,
yeah, for the short note. Yeah.
So they're not.
It was the DNA
revisions.
transcription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about the biomolecules.
Okay.
I think they're just showing you what to expect in the final exam.
Like the marking scheme, and it was like
Yeah.
just squiggles.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't beneficial. It wasn't.
But you will have with Dr. Kate, okay, you will have a lot of tutorials, and they will be actually good tutorials. I
So
remember that
Kevin as
on
well.
yeah, and in our first CA, there were almost 5 or 6 questions from the tutorials. Okay, and they might change the style of the tutorials, but I still have actually the tutorials, so I might give you copies of it. Okay.
Are you still confused about the marking scheme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to understand, but it's possible like to get a 4 or 5. Like I mean, 6, we won't get it.
Yeah,
It is possible actually to get 5. Yeah.
but just make sure
Most of
that
the questions
yeah.
I got 5 on them. Yeah.
Yeah, but just make sure that you're showing like the relationship between the information and you're
Oh, yeah.
connecting everything. Like show them that you understand instead of just copying whatever in the lecture. Because
Yeah,
sometimes
so,
they're in a
yeah.
point style, so we really have to use like paragraph style.
Yeah, take information from other notes, okay, other modules even, and try to combine them on one.
Yeah, that
on
would
one
give you a
question.
6.
That's that would actually give you 6. So
And I heard that like you can't try it outside of the box.
yeah, you cannot.
And
No,
not on the back of the paper.
yeah,
So
no, you cannot.
like,
It's only 8 minutes for a T question, so you will
Oh,
not
yeah, you
have
won't
time
have.
even to. Yeah,
True.
so I
it's
can't
only 8
request
minutes.
for what paper.
No, it's not actually IELTS exam, but the point is start to manage the time. Okay, so put yourself on the situation of exams. Okay, and manage the time. So give yourself 8 minutes per question. Okay, practice, and that will be good actually.
Just one thing about the
Yeah.
shortcut questions. If they ask you to write to draw a diagram, just be careful to read the question and understand it fully, because some guys they draw a diagram that's not been asked for, so they have to scribble and they
Yeah,
can't
and
find
some-
space on the
yeah.
paper.
And sometimes they might ask you draw or describe.
Yeah.
So yeah, draw or describe, and sometimes they might ask you describe, or sometimes might ask you draw.
Is it easier to get one?
On drawing. Yeah,
It is
you can.
doable, yeah.
Yeah, it's easy one.
And must the diagram be like large enough or?
It should be, yeah. Should be, yeah, it should be.
Are they going to ask us to know something that is really difficult?
No.
Hobbies that you should know?
Yes.
Usually,
I think you have to know.
structures,
Yeah.
tertiary, primary, and all that stuff.
The way is that you will know the answer, okay, even before reading the options itself. So you will know the answer from the question, okay, before reading the options, okay. Some of the questions, some of them will be a bit tricky, but most of the tricky questions will be in reproductive and endocrine. That's second semester, okay. For the endocrine and the reproductive, there are only few notes, okay. The endocrine is 5 notes, okay. So do read them, okay. Put an effort on them, and you will be actually reading the same materials on JC2, okay, but with great details, of course. But do have the basics one.
And because biology, usually they ask a question, like a broad question, and expect you to write like everything you know.
They might, yeah. We had actually the first question was about protein. So they asked to draw all the structures and describe all the structures of protein, the primary, secondary, tertiary, and coordinate. So
Okay, in this case, I mean it's organized, but sometimes.
Not really, they're not going to ask
No,
you to
no
read
way,
the
no.
whole lecture, so no.
no.
Because like she gave us a sample question, and it asked us basically to write.
What was the question?
They told us to describe every biomolecule and its structure and its functions.
Yeah, you might have this question as well. Yeah, the proteins and carbohydrates. Yeah, but write only the general.
Yeah, on those kind
Descriptions
of
of them.
questions, they're not really looking for
Yeah.
details, so just make sure.
A summary.
We asked some information because we just like forgot it or we thought that was irrelevant, but they were looking for it. So how do you know what do you need to write and what not to write?
Write
Well,
the important stuff first.
Yeah, and then add a little extra information on them. Okay. Yeah, I think so.
And watch-
Extra
watch out
information.
for the time. They should watch out for the time in the short notes.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just run out of time at the end of the
Most
exam.
of the people are not.
Do you mind if I just
Yeah.
give an example?
40 minutes.
Was the question like
5 questions.
describe thin biomolecules?
Yeah, and structure.
We actually saw this question before in past papers.
Okay.
It does describe the carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids in general.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, Aziz.
like if you finish,
But what-
okay, they gave me the MCQ questions, and it's a 1 hour duration. This hour is up. I can't use. I mean, if I finish like MCQ early, can't use.
No, you cannot. They are actually separate exam. So to be MCQs and short notes. Yeah.
About the spelling.
Hmm?
The spelling.
Well, it depends. If the examiner was Dr. Katia, you will get 0 if you have no.
Okay.
If you have a lot of spelling mistake, yeah. Especially
Don't
with kids.
overthink it. I mean, like, there are some spelling mistakes that you shouldn't
Of course,
do,
yeah.
like nucleus and nucleolus, but then probably they're not going to be too picky, I'd say.
Like for example, with like a huge word, and I missed one letter.
Oh, no.
No, it does. No.
Just make sure that your handwriting is clear enough, I'd say. So.
And about the short note questions regarding the biology, they had a she put the example she wrote like keywords. Like, do they expect from us to write keywords or sentences?
Well, it depends on the question. So.
To be honest, the first semester I tried points, and the second semester I tried paragraph style, and I got better marks. So
So, for example, on the question of describe all the proteins and carbohydrates, write only bullet points because you will not have to write paragraphs. Okay.
and sometimes there are keywords that they're looking for, so it doesn't matter how much you're writing, but they really want to see that word. So probably can figure that from the learning outcomes.
Sorry, do you mind me just saying one thing on the question of biomolecules? If you get this question in short notes, I'd say, let's say you start with carbohydrates, but then if you write, lines and lines on carbohydrates, but then you miss writing anything but proteins or fats, I think you're not going to get the scores. So what you can do is, in that case, probably just draw a table, carbs, protein, fats, okay, and then the building blocks, monosaccharides, amino acids, and then what's there for that, and then you move on after. So don't leave like a big block out and just write lots of details on biomolecules, for instance.
Any question?
Of the market. And there's also histology. You guys heard of the histology? Yes? No? Okay. It's very, yes?
Is it like online?
Yes, the online histology. It's very, very